Today I want to talk to you about the subject of hope. We live in an uncertain world where we've been dealing with the COVID crisis, the pandemic, and all the threats to our stability that involved. We're dealing with Russia towards Ukraine and how that's created an uncertainty in our world. And just in general, our world is an uncertain place right now, whether economically or this sense of what does our future hold for us. So I want to talk to you, I think it's a relevant topic about the theme of hope. In the days of sailing ships, when they would use the wind to propel them, they didn't have a brake system. They didn't have a motor. The wind propelled them through the sails, and the way that they would slow down is to lower the sails and ultimately to stop if they were going to be coming against an obstacle or rocks on the shore. They would drop the anchor. And the anchor was a static point meant to hold them, keep them secured so that they would not face destruction. And I think that's a great analogy for us today. When we talk about the subject of hope, I remember a verse in the New Testament book of Hebrews that says, "We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure." Today I just want to ask you, what is your anchor? And as you think about hope being an anchor, I want to read to you this definition. Hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. It's an optimistic state of mind based on an expectation of positive outcomes. We deal with hopelessness a lot in our world. Hopelessness means a state of despair. And as a Christian minister, chaplain, this week is very special to me in my faith heritage because it's Holy Week. It's a week in which we celebrate Jesus coming into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday with celebration, the crowd being very much celebrating his coming in and then turning on him and ultimately being betrayed by one of his closest followers, Judas, and being crucified by the Romans and then rising again on Easter. It's a week that has a lot of themes of hope and despair and then hope again. And I think life is a lot like that. Sometimes we forget that hopelessness can lead us to hope. And we don't know how to deal with it, and we don't wait it out and use the encouragement of our faith or our friends or whatever anchors we may have. I want to tell you my own story of how I came to grasp with hope as an anchor for my soul. I had a very close friend. His name was Jimmy. In high school, we actually partied together. I was a preacher's kid, but had some rebelliousness in my life. So we ran around together, very close friends, played football, sports together. And unfortunately, right before Christmas of 1978, he was killed in an accident. And I cannot describe to you the hopelessness that I felt at how brief and uncertain life can be with the death of my friend Jimmy. And ultimately, 4 months later, I embraced my faith in God and gave my life to Christ, and that was a transforming event for me. That's where I really discovered what my anchor was. I think I'd not defined it, and I think there's a lot of us, regardless whether we're young like I was, a junior in high school when I went through this event, or whether we're older, we don't define our anchors. We're not sure of what holds us down, of what keeps us from crashing against the rocks when the storms of doubt and despair can threaten to overwhelm us. And unfortunately, many folks give up. They don't turn to friends or family or faith or groups that care about them. And so there's two challenges I want to give to you today. One, ask yourself, what is your anchor? And don't just avoid that question waiting for life to get bad. That's not the time to discover what your anchors are. It's better to discover your anchors when the storms are not there, when the sea is calm, when things are going well, you're coasting along. That's when you want to say, this is the anchor for my soul. But you don't want to wait till you're going against the rocks and you're like, whoops, I don't have an anchor to hold me back, and then you're decimated. So you need to define your anchor. Two, be an anchor and an encouragement to those around you who are facing hopelessness. be sensitive to the struggles they may have. You don't have to preach to them. You don't have to, berate them. You really just have to be present. Sometimes being present is the greatest message that your life can give of hope and encouragement to those who are discouraged. So ask yourself, what is my anchor? And find a way to either be an anchor or encourage others to find their anchor by uplifting them, by encouraging them, by being genuine, not fake, but genuine in your faith journey or your embracing of hope for the future, so that you can be an ambassador of hope for those who so need it. Thank you.